WNBA Finals. And so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. And so all I'll say is just, it's obviously been a tough week.
Everyone thought she would just take it on the chin, smile for the cameras, and wait her turn. They thought Caitlyn Clark would be grateful just to be in the building, happy to sit at the end of the bench and learn from the legends. But it looks like the WNBA pushed their biggest star too far, and now the consequences are rolling in like a tidal wave. Reports are circulating that the golden girl of women's basketball has officially drawn a line in the sand, allegedly telling insiders she is done with Team USA. And the wildest part? It wasn't just the players pushing her out. It sounds like the commissioner herself, Cathy Engelbert, might have unintentionally confirmed the toxic environment that led to this shocking decision. The narrative has shifted from waiting her turn to walking away. And if the rumors are true, the league is about to lose its most valuable asset on the international stage. It started with what many are calling the biggest roster mistake in sports history, a decision that set the tone for everything that followed. When the Team USA squad was announced for Paris, the one name generating all the buzz, the name selling out arenas and driving TV ratings through the roof, was nowhere to be found. The selection committee hid behind the excuse of experience, claiming Clark hadn't paid her dues yet and that the team needed veteran chemistry to secure the gold. But let's be real, nobody bought that for a second. It felt personal. While the world was tuning in to see her logo threes and flashy assists, the powers that be decided to bench her for the entire summer before she even stepped on the court. It was a loud, undeniable message to the rookie. You might be famous, you might be rich, but you aren't one of us yet. But that snub was just the tip of the iceberg. If leaving her off the roster was a cold shoulder, what happened inside the league once the game started was a straight-up assault. From the moment the season tipped off, it was open season on Clark. We saw the blindside hip checks, specifically the infamous moment with Chandy Carter that sent Clark sprawling to the floor before the ball was even in play. We saw the hard shoves, the face guarding, and the constant physical targeting that went far beyond normal basketball competitiveness. But the real issue wasn't just the players doing it, it was the deafening silence from the top. The league office seemed to look the other way, almost as if they were okay with their rookie sensation getting hazed on national television. They refused to suspend players immediately. They hesitated to upgrade fouls to flagrants until the public outrage grew too loud to ignore. And they let the narrative spiral out of control. This lack of protection culminated in a moment that changed everything. Just when things seemed to be cooling down, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert stepped in and poured gasoline on the fire. In a recent CNBC interview, one that can only be described as a PR nightmare, she tried to downplay the toxicity directed at Clark by comparing it to the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird rivalry of the 80s. She sat there smiling, talking about marketing, valuation, and how great this rivalry was for the business of the league. She completely failed to condemn the very real dark clouds of racism and vitriol that had been hanging over the fan base and the players. It was a massive blunder. By treating the hate and the physical targeting as just another business metric to be capitalized on, she essentially validated Clark's feelings of isolation. It sent a clear signal that the league cares more about the drama and the dollars than the safety and mental well-being of the player bringing in those dollars. The backlash to the commissioner's comments was immediate and furious. The WNBA Players Association, usually a group that stands by the league's growth, had to issue a statement distancing themselves from Engelbert's take. Players like Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier had to step up and say what the commissioner wouldn't, that there is no place for hate in the sport, but for Clark, the damage was likely already done. Imagine being the employee bringing in record profits, charter flights for everyone, and massive TV deals, only to have your boss go on national television and say that the people attacking you are just good for business. That is the kind of betrayal that makes a person rethink their future, loyalty. And that is exactly where the quit rumors are stemming from. You can't talk about this situation without addressing the elephant in the room, the deep-seated resentment from the old guard. For years, Team USA has been a closed club, dominated by the same legends, The same circle of friends who have played together for over a decade. Rumors have been flying for months that certain veteran players made it clear they didn't want the Caitlyn circus, disrupting their chemistry in Paris. It wasn't just about basketball fit, it was about the spotlight. Diana Taurasi famously warned that reality is coming for Clark, a quote that aged poorly as Clark proceeded to break rookie records and lead the league in assists. By freezing her out of the Olympics, the veterans thought they were protecting their legacy and their locker room sanctity. Instead, they might have destroyed the bridge to the future generation. They won the gold, sure, but they lost the public relations war, and they alienated the millions of new fans who only tuned in to see number 22. This is where the story takes a sharp, permanent turn. According to news speculation and whispers from insiders, Clark isn't just sitting at home, sad about missing the flight to Paris. She's allegedly making moves to protect her own brand. The word on the street is that after being benched by the Olympic Committee, physically targeted by her peers, and left unprotected by the commissioner, Clark has decided to pull her energy away from the huge national program. It's a power move of the highest order. She knows she generates the ratings. She knows she drives the jersey sales and the ticket revenue. If Team USA doesn't want her, she doesn't need them. She's bigger than the badge right now, and she knows it. The rumor is that she has privately signaled she has no interest in future invitationals if the current culture remains in place. If this walkout is real, the fallout is going to be astronomical. We are talking about the face of the sport potentially refusing to represent the country because of league politics and a lack of support. It turns the tables completely. The WNBA and Team USA banked on the idea that players need the system to survive, that the honor of the Olympics is the ultimate carrot to dangle. But Clark has proven she is the system. By allegedly quitting the national team setup, she deprives them of their biggest marketing asset for the next 4 years, leading up to the Los Angeles Olympics. It's a financial disaster waiting to happen, and the commissioner is left holding the bag. They needed her face on the billboards for LA 2028. Without her, they are trying to sell a product that the new massive audience simply isn't buying. Let's look at the numbers, because they paint a brutal picture for the league. If Clark actually walks away, before she arrived, the WNBA was struggling to turn a profit, flying commercial and playing in front of half-empty arenas. Since she was drafted, attendance is up over 40% league-wide. TV ratings have tripled. And the league signed a historic media rights deal worth over $2 billion. That money is what pays for the higher salaries and the improved travel conditions that all the veterans are now enjoying. The irony is suffocating. The veterans and the league office are treating her like an outsider, yet they're all cashing the checks that her popularity wrote. If she decides to focus solely on the Indiana Fever and ignore the global duties of Team USA, she is effectively taking her ball and going home, leaving the national team to rely on the old guard, who simply do not move the needle the same way. The specific incident with the commissioner really needs to be dissected to understand why Clark would make such a drastic decision. When Engelbert was asked about the dark side of the social media discourse, the racism, the misogyny, the threats, she pivoted to a corporate answer about rivalries. She tried to frame it like the heated NBA battles of the 80s. But those battles, while physical, didn't involve the kind of toxicity we are seeing now. By failing to draw a line, the commissioner made it seem like the league was complicit. It felt like she was saying, as long as people are watching, we don't care how they treat you. For a young player like Clark, who has stayed silent and professional through it all, that had to feel like a knife in the back. It validated every conspiracy theory that the league is using her for clout while secretly resenting her success. And let's not forget the chemistry excuse used to keep her off the Olympic team.